Good morning and welcome back to K24 this morning. It's Tuesday and we talk about money and finance. Today, I am joined by three panelists to discuss redundancy. And the question that we asked earlier on in regards to that is redundancy a blessing in disguise? Have you been, laid off before? Have you been declared redundant? Do you even understand what it means? We'd like to hear your feedback on our social media pages. That is at K24 TV across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also call us on the numbers on your screen. Text us also on 21222. Right now, though, let me introduce my peeps again. We have Abraham Muthogo, who is an economist. We have Miriam Tharao, a HR professional, and we have Moses Rishu, the co-founder of Africa's Pocket, their financial advisory company. So we will let you know how you can reach them later on. Right now, though, getting back to the discussion, before we went for a break, we were talking about the options that we have. In case you are rendered redundant, what do you do next? Do you get into depression, or do you just, stand on your feet and dust yourself and find out what to do next? That is the question that we're answering through Mr. Abraham here. And also there's a gentleman who called earlier on and said that he asked for leave and kaput. He was just told, you know what, hii leave yako ukienda enda ka umeenda. So I think we should pick up from there first of all.
Great. Now, for this gentleman who asked for unpaid leave, I suppose that's what he said.
Yes.
First, he needs to establish, is an unpaid leave part of their HR policy? Is it something that is readily available to staff? And secondly, even if you wanted to go on leave and then to be fired, that's totally unprocedural,
right,
and it's unlawful, because leave is actually a right as an employee because you earn the days.
Yeah.
So if it is a normal leave that he was asking for, he needed to have been actually given the permission to go on leave. And if it's unpaid leave, he needed to have discussed with the HR what the options are, such that if unpaid leave is not feasible, then he can take the usual leave, do whatever it is that he needed to do, and then come back.
Okay.
But for an employer to actually sack an employee on the basis that they've asked for leave, I think that's straight
suspect.
down, unfair. It's an unfair practice.
What options does he have? Go to court or negotiate with them? What are the options?
Let him first reach out to the company and first understand what was going on. And if they're not actually forthcoming and ready to explain what was going on, he can actually talk to a lawyer, a labor lawyer, someone who practices with labor lawyer, and they'll be able to get them on the next steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But Pole Sana, that's not even being declared redundant. That is just being kicked out. Afukuzaya kwambi toka, anakwambianga tu after unpaid leave usirudi. Okay, you were saying something about the mitigation that we need to put in place. He talked about putting funds in place, and we'll talk about where those funds, first of all, come from. Do they come from your salo? But you said people work and then they do not know what literally is happening, out of the streets.
Yes, because, and that happens a lot. Especially, most jobs are very busy. You'll come before sunrise and leave after sunset. So literally, you don't know what happens literally outside your door.
Yes.
So you're ill-prepared for the life out there because you are used to fitting into a system and getting paid for your skill. So they throw you out. So even if at all you have to go into business, that business must be related to what you are doing.
Okay.
You see?
So if I'm a TV presenter and then I am told bounce, so I go open my own TV station, or?
Wish you could. But since you can't, then you start as small as he's saying. You can MC.
Yes.
You see, right, something within your scope. But now today I'm a banker. I live banking. Then I get this brainwave to do meat.
Yeah, butchery.
Yes, I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And as she said, 2 million will disappear. And then again, don't forget, if you're in a high-paying job, your consumption patterns are erratic.
Yes.
Because you know that in another 30 days, I'll get another million. Yes, yes. So, and you can even say, I'll pay you next month. But then you go out there, and now the cycles are different.
Yes.
Because now it's fee-based. You do a job, and then you invoice, and then you're paid at the pleasure of the guy you did the job for.
They tell you 10 days, 10 days turn out to be 60 days.
But you see, you are used to, when you're saying 30 days, you thought 30 days or 30 days. Now, out there, it's different.
Yes.
So that's why I was saying it's better, because they'll give you a package if you live well. Take it somewhere where they can place it for you and advise you, and basically passive income.
Right.
Where you can sit at home and reflect.
Okay.
What do I want to do? Then you can start chunking that money out. And you see, if you have 10 million, you can risk one and see if that works.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll get it.
I'll get it right when I have 100,000 remaining.
Yes. That one you have to get it right, because it will be your last 100.
Yes.
Go for what you're passionate about.
Yes.
as much as you're a banker, what is it? What's your other side hustle that you're passionate about? Because your passion ends up making money for you. You enjoy it as well as make money from it. Yeah.
Okay, but he mentioned meat a lot. I have a feeling
Maybe he has affiliation of
Mr. Butcher. In fact, based on that, and a very good example. My wife Rina, she's a trained airline person. She worked for KQ, but when she left, she did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
She decided she reflected and said, my passion is in cake.
Yes.
And she went that route.
And now she's baking amazing cakes.
She's got a massive business.
Yeah.
In that.
All right.
Nothing to do with the airline, but I can assure you she'd never have made the kind of money she's making now.
Right.
If she had been there.
Continued.
It becomes a blessing.
If you, getting to you, Moses, if you look at the way the salary structures in this country, because I've done multiple jobs, worked for multiple companies, you're literally paid just enough money, of course, hand to mouth. Any nile idengevi, unalipa rent, utilities, uko na sacco loan, uko na help, uko na bibi, uko na, you know.
The post-dated checks.
And then you realize, you realize your salary is literally just sustaining you for the month. Where do I get this extra money to open, like he has said, that bakery or to open that butchery? I mean, unless I'm a magician and just pull money out of the air.
So first, before that, there's a lot more than just passion to building the right business, and we can go into that later. In terms of where the money should come from, so there's this thing called lifestyle creep.
Yeah.
And you see it in the way guys constantly, like if you have a car, you constantly upgrade it.
Yes.
You know, this way I have a Toyo, the next day I have a Prado, then
Sasa niko na athlete.
So the problem is not when that happens in one thing, it's a problem when it happens in everything.
Yes.
Okay.
So first you have it, and then you go to this type of restaurant.
Right.
Then you get a Prado, and you go to this type of restaurant.
Yes.
Then you get, you know, an AMG Mercedes, and you're in this type of restaurant.
Exactly.
That, when it's happened across your life, becomes unsustainable, and you will always just earn enough.
Yes.
Even though this person, you're earning 10 times what you made here.
Yes.
You still are struggling.
Yes.
And what you need to actually ask yourself is, what do I care about?
Yes.
And on those things, spend. Spend. If it's cars, cool. But in other things, save.
Yes.
So it's okay to have a very small house and a massive car, if that's your thing.
Yes.
Or vice versa, right? There's no pressure for everything. You must live like you're the president. You're not. It's fine.
Yeah, I know guys who drive Range Rovers, but they live in Langata in an SQ.
But it works for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, on that specific one,
Wrong lifestyle
on that
choices.
specific one, there are extremes on this, right? Like, if you live in, you want to make sure you can guarantee that you continue to sustain your life.
Yes.
Right.
So it's not just that I have a Range Rover that I have on loan, and then now I live in this SQ because my money is only enough to pay the loan for this range and then my SQ.
Yes.
That's not okay. Because should you lose your job, you will lose both the Range Rover and
And
the
the
SQ. You lose both, right?
lifestyle.
So exactly, lifestyle. So that goes back to the emergency fund we're talking about and asking, how much money do I need for 3 to 6 months?
Okay.
Right, which gives you enough time to not panic when you lose your job and try everything. Because that's what happens, and that's how people end up losing all their money. You panic, I'm going to do this business, this business, this business. And you come from employment to running 10 businesses in a span of 10 days. You will lose your money.
Yeah.
Right?
And your mind as well.
And your mind.
Yeah.
But if you buy yourself, you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months to think, reflect, decide which businesses you can do. Try them out at small scale. You know, you have 1 million or 500,000 or 200,000, whatever you have, and you try it out for 10,000. Because you know you can MC for 0 resources.
Yeah.
You can bake for the cost of unga and sugar. Right?
Exactly.
All these things, there are small versions of these businesses you can try just to confirm you understand what the demand for this looks like. Where you find customers. So you bake cakes. How do you sell cakes? How do you sell them at scale? And answer all those questions before you believe you have a business at hand, which you can then push more money into.
Okay.
And so you need time. 1, 2, you need to understand your costs.
Yes.
And then when you have those two things are created by an emergency fund.
Yeah.
And then you're okay for a while.
We. So watu wa Range Rover alafu nishikwe SQ. You need to rethink your situation. Monitor and evaluate yourself.
Of course.
Yes.
But let me deviate just a bit.
Yes.
Why is it that some of us make so much money while others make so little money, yet we live in the same Nairobi? Like I was saying, una earn through just enough money to pay your bills, and after that you have absolutely nothing else.
Well, it all boils down to the ambition and our vision. Everyone has a different ambition and vision in life. Some of us are okay just going by from hand to mouth, from 1st to 31st, we're okay with that. Others will actually start saving well in advance into their career.
Right.
My thumb rule is actually, I tell my staff and everyone who actually I come across is, the first day you sign your contract,
Yes.
just know that the last day of your work is also coming.
Yes. Yes.
When you have that mentality and you sign your first contract after campus and you're earning a good salary, you'll have the mindset of actually saving.
Yeah.
without necessarily going bonkers into the Range Rovers and a mansion, and you don't even have a family yet, but you're living big.
Yeah.
But you'll have the mindset of starting to save, putting your money into the pension, saving enough. By the way, you don't even have to go by the 10% rule or the 5% rule. You can always increase your percentage depending on your salary, such that you are saving in the event that you're told your job has come to kaput.
Yeah.
It's time to go home. Do you have enough resources that you can say, it's been good, it's been real,
Yeah.
I'm now able to now face my second half of my life going into business.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
She has mentioned something very important.
Yes.
But yeah?
You see, there's something she says there that is very critical. You see, if you work for an employer or been employed for long, I interact with people and they start talking about we. Now, you as an employee, now you've joined the company and now it's a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. Because I think at the back of your mind, you should always remember that you're a resource. You're not an owner of that company. So one day you will go.
Yes.
And even if you look at the financial statements, you don't appear under assets. You appear under expenses.
True.
That is this desk appears under K24's assets.
Yes.
You
It's registered as a
you appear under K24's payroll expenses.
Okay.
And that is the reality.
So as an employee,
As an employee, you must
I
have,
am
you
an expense.
always have to remember that I'm an expense. So I'm being kept because I'm delivering more than I cost.
Okay.
The moment I cost more than I deliver, I'm gone.
It's a wrap.
It's a
Yeah,
wrap.
it's a wrap.
So if that is at the back of your mind, you'll be loyal to your employee, but you'll always save for a rainy day.
Okay.
Your mind will, and if you have that kind of mind, even if you're told to go, there'll be no surprises. Because you'll be like,
You'll be
this is the day I've been
ready.
waiting for, it's come,
Yeah.
so let me do my thing.
But there's something also she mentioned
Yes.
in terms of the saving culture.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the people that we are in
don't
Kenya,
have
and
it.
I'll use Kenya specifically because
Yes.
I'm a Kenyan.
Yes.
What were Uganda's story out.
Yes.
But sisi kama wa Kenya,
Yes.
honestly speaking, we are always caught off guard.
Okay,
Yeah, we are caught off guard.
Unfortunately.
Is it something, I don't know, from an economist point of view, what is our problem?
No, you see, as human beings, we only do things out of a necessity.
Yeah.
So if I think I will have my job continuously, then there's no need to save. Because there'll be money every 30 days.
Yeah.
So it's about mindset.
So it's about that comfort zone as
the
well.
comfort zone. And number two is about deciding who I want to be. That do I want to enjoy today
Yes.
and suffer later?
Okay.
Or at least suffer now and enjoy later? It's all a mindset. Like if you see the generations of our fathers, them their mindset was, we'll suffer today and enjoy later. I saw it with my own father. He lived up. He was very, 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 he controlled his coin.
Alikuanga maisa.
But now when I look at his asset base,
Yeah.
and he had a very low income, I am nowhere near there.
Yeah.
You know, it challenged.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel very shy when I think about that issue.
Yeah.
So, but those guys were like that because they believed that, because for you to accumulate capital, there must be a saving.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
What he said.
Yes.
Save,
There's no other
save,
way.
save,
Yeah.
save,
And you
save.
see, if you anything you start early becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So after 1-2 years, there's no struggle. You just know that I'm earning $1 million, $400 goes away.
Yeah.
And you don't feel it. The same way we say, out of my income, I pay 10% tithe. You don't feel it.
Yeah.
It's something you do. You actually do by standing order.
Consciously.
It's a habit
Yes,
now.
unconsciously.
It's a habit.
You only struggle if you want to start it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And say if you can't save at 10,000, I guarantee you cannot save at $1 million.
I actually wonder how many people pay themselves first once they've been paid. You've received your 100K. Do you pay yourself first? And by paying, I mean, I'll take probably either 40,000 and pay myself and pat myself on the back, good job, and then I put it into a saving,
All right.
or a SACC or a bank.
Let me just hold you on that note because we have a Sylvester on the line. Sylvester, good morning. Sylvester? All right, we've lost Sylvester. Because my problem with again, our saving culture and our employment culture is we get so comfortable. You've gotten into a company, you're earning your 50,000, and you're like, you know what? Now I'm living the good life. Nili kwane SHSQ, you're 5,000. I think now, like you said, I can now upgrade to 15,000 because boss,
15,000,
pesa imetoka out of nowhere literally. Like, what do I do with 50,000? Yeah? I don't know.
Sound financial management. I actually vouch for every person should have a financial consultant.
But does HR of these companies assist people. Like if you hire me today and you got me from a job where I was earning 20,000, then suddenly now you tell me, Mbuvi, we'll give you 50,000. Does the HR department have things in place where we can actually be trained?
Oh, yes.
And Mbuvi, now your lifestyle has, your income rather has changed, and this is how your lifestyle should change.
Yes, any good HR practitioner in an organization should be mindful about the welfare of their staff. And periodically, like where I am right now, is that every quarter we bring in different professions to come and talk to our staff, be it a financial consultant, be it a mental psychiatrist or a psychologist, because we know our staff are facing different issues that I, as a HR person, may not necessarily be able to take them through, but I'll have a profession come and actually equip them and help them to actually be able to prepare themselves adequately. So it should be a norm in most organizations whereby, yes, we're doing the human resource, but are we preparing our staff adequately all through the year from January to December? We're not just there to do your job and then go home, but am I equiping you as well?
Because I remember I used to live back in the day in SQ, 3,500. Sahi nikapoteza job hata hiyo SQ ya 35 siwezi rudi. How do I go back there?
Lifestyle. Hautapoteza.
Wait, we have a caller from Nakuru. Good morning. John.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
What is your question or comment?
Okay, my comment is, as you see, like Nakumat. Yes, you see, for the question you have asked for the people in Nairobi or anywhere.
Yeah.
We say that I can say that we come at a comfort zone when you are being employed with some employers. And the economists have said something which is very fight off.
Okay.
Is he has said that we only have to stay like we are in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
When you are in a comfort zone,
yes,
and you are being misused, you are only used as an asset,
yes,
which is in the side that you cannot. Once you get yourself, you are an outcast, and you are being deployed, and tendency you don't have any money.
Yeah,
you go without anything.
Okay.
Like now in Nakumat,
yes,
I can say it was a tough
transition.
It has given his employer, his staff a hard time in their life.
Okay, John.
Yes.
Thank you very much, John, for that. Comfort zone, again, we come back to that. People, Moses, are very comfortable.
They are.
Yeah. Until the day you're told, you're called for an appraisal and you're told, but then you've not been performing. And that's when panic mode sets in. And you hadn't saved. Are there any other options from Africa's pocket perspective that we can actually employ to make sure, okay, fine, you know what, I've been caught off guard, I've been told that I'm leaving in a month's time or 2 months' time and I hadn't prepared. Is there another option to cushion yourself so that you don't end up in panic mode, you don't end up depressed?
So first, I think it's important to acknowledge that there's a very good chance that you will panic initially. So the question is, do you have stuff in place that allows you to get through that period?
Yeah.
So if you have a longer period, 2 months instead of a week, right?
Yeah.
Then you have more time to process it and understand, what are my ways forward?
Right.
If you haven't saved, you need to drastically cut your costs. It's like right away, which means move out of your house.
Okay.
Go into a much cheaper house. If you can do it, if you can move back into your parents, there's a lot of resistance. But it's this resistance that forces guys to keep a very high cash burn rate, and then you struggle at the end. Yeah. Like as soon as your life circumstances change, you accept it and you move, right? Because you've bought yourself time. Yes. Instead of your money running out in a month, your money will run out in 3 months.
Okay.
You have 3 months of window now to think and figure out what's next. So that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is also communicate to your dependents. A lot of guys, especially guys, jikaza, they go home, yeah, everything's fine. Everything is not fine.
And yet the house is burning.
Exactly, which means that the cash that's being burnt around you stays as high. People keep consuming, they keep going to the same cinemas, people keep accepting the same money sent home, people keep expecting the same things, which means you keep shelling out the same money,
right.
Which means that the amount of money how long your money can last shrinks considerably.
Okay.
So you need to be very clear to the people around you and B, dramatically shift your lifestyle so that you can stretch your money as far as possible.
All right. Yeah. Okay. As men, sometimes it's hard to tell your wife, babe, you know what? You can no longer go to the spa. You can no longer go to the salon that you're used to. So if you used to have hair worth 45,000, babe, itabidi umeanza kuangalia ya sotano sasa. You know, that's a
Chini.
drastic change.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's because of basically how men have been socialized. That you're the breadwinner. But if you look at it carefully, even if you look at the ratios in schools, it's now 50-50. The lady, there are ladies, a lot of couples where the lady is earning more than the man.
Yes.
So I think it's just about how you run your house, and just tell the person and just be honest that you know this has happened, and I'll not be able to do as I used to. But most people fear that with that, other repercussions, negative repercussions will come. So let me put up this show in the hope that I will go. And now that's what literally a fool's paradise.
Right.
Because it will not last long. So I think, as he said, I think the sooner you accept that reality, the better. Because if you accept it, even to be able to move on is easier.
Yeah.
Because if you say, I've lost this job, that means you go into, let me start looking for another job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that helps.
Yeah.
But if you're in denial, then you just keep saying it will happen and you don't move.
And then it finds you off guard.
Yes.
There's something you said about skill sets. You improving your skill set. Now, if I was a teller, going back to the bank situation, if I was a teller, what do I do? I improve and become what? A manager. We can't all be managers.
We can't all be managers, but I'm talking about the skill set whereby you just don't have one skill that you're actually pegging your everything on.
Okay.
You need to be multi-skilled, multifaceted, such that if today your cashier or your telemarketing skills don't work, can you be an MC somewhere else, or can you be a DJ?
Yes.
That's going to get you some extra income. So don't get into that comfort zone, as you said, whereby, yes, telemarketer, until Jesus comes back, that's what you'll be doing. No, get out of that comfort zone. Remember, this is not your mother's house. It's only your mother's house that you can be comfortable and actually throw all the care in the world.
And even your mother also has limits, by the way.
Exactly.
While you're at it.
Yeah. But have that in mind that you are an asset. And if you cannot fulfill your usefulness within that company, things will go the other way. Yeah.
I know from Africa's perspective, Africa's pocket perspective, is you guys always advocate for be an entrepreneur. You know, it will, having at least a side hustle that assists you to you know, if you get rendered redundant, at least you have something to fall back on. However, that entrepreneurship, because a lot of people want to have that side hustle, but isn't that side hustle something that will also take a lot of your time in terms of, if it's, say, a salon, you need to keep on calling and find out, low customers, how much hair have you used, you know, do we need tokens for the electricity and so on and so forth. Don't you think that you will end up splitting your time between your employer and your side hustle?
Great question. I think that's a thing that people don't realize. So we actually don't necessarily advocate for people to have a side hustle. We tell people these are the consequences of each decision.
Okay.
So for example, if you choose to have a side hustle, realize that if you're constantly calling people, figuring out how much oil is at the salon, how many customers have happened, then you're much more likely to be underperforming at your work. And when guys are being fired, right, much higher chance that it's you because you're underperforming.
All right.
Whereas in situations where you're executing very, very well at work and building relationships, because it's not enough to just do well. People need to know that you're good, and you need to be constantly investing in those relationships. That in itself is a good cushion. Because should you lose your job in company one, people everywhere know movie's phenomenal.
Yes.
You'll be pulled into company two or company three. That's also a very valid way to spend your time.
Okay.
And if you are in a career where your earnings from work can significantly outshine your earnings from a side hustle, then it makes sense to specialize and very aggressively go into that work.
Okay.
For example, as a doctor, it's very hard to be a doctor and become a surgeon and then become like head of surgery while running a kiosk.
Clinic.
Like, exactly, like it's hard, right?
Yes,
There's hours you need to put in to specialize
Right.
to achieve that. So it's knowing where you stand and can I afford to specialize and do very well at this instead of trying to
All
be
right.
in 10 places.
Multitasking. 30 seconds. What are your last words in regards to this whole redundancy issue?
My last word is, even as we go through the whole redundancy, let's take care of our mental health. We're seeing a very big increase in depression cases and suicide. It's never that serious. You can fall down and still be able to pick yourself up. Be able to talk to somebody. Let's also be very accommodative of the people around us who are being retrenched or being declared redundant, and be a support system.
Okay.
But mostly, let's take care of our minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Economist, Abraham.
Yes. For me, I think, the ones who are being declared redundant are the lucky ones.
The ones who've been declared redundant?
And I say this, I'll say this in this context. The majority are the ones who never even get to a job. So I think we need to change our mindset and policies at all levels, so that we start creating entrepreneurs. Because for every entrepreneur we create, then we reduce one more person looking for a job.
Yes.
And we create one more person looking for somebody to work for.
Exactly.
So if you do more, if that cycle continues for long, then we have to start importing labor.
Wow. Okay, there you have it. If you want to cushion yourself from redundancy, well, I think these gentlemen and lady have put it in very good context right now. Though I want to ask my co-hosts the same question that I asked you, starting with Jeff Morte.
Yes.
Is redundancy a blessing in disguise?
Well, if prepared, well, that means that's what they were saying even in this first couple of months. What you should do is make sure you have an emergency fund, and then from there think about what you're going to do once past that particular point. But you're told today, go.
Yeah.
That is not a blessing.
It's a wrap.
Because you don't know where you're going from here.
It's like you finding your girlfriend or boyfriend with someone else.
Okay.
Bhuvi, your choice in examples.
She's analogy.
You know what? Is it a blessing in disguise, yes or no?
I think just to add on to what Jeff said, really, if you have prepared yourself, by the way, nothing can actually move you.
Yeah.
If you're really well prepared, and I think that's the problem many of us actually make. You don't really prepare yourself. These things come at you in life. What do you do?
All right. And that brings us to the end of that particular discussion. Thank you very much for joining us. All your texts and calls, we really, really appreciate them. Tomorrow being a Wednesday, itakuwa siku noma tena sana, hump day, like you like saying.
Okay, fantastic stuff. As we wind up, of course, the Daily Brief up next. CS Interior, Matiang'i, goes to the committee this morning in terms of security. Lots of questions to be debated on the floor. You can catch that and so much more on the Daily Brief with Samuel, Njoroge, and Shiksha Arora from 9 right here. We say goodbye.
All right.
Kwaheri. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.